Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of the Wheel to Wheel podcast brought to you by Singularity Motorsports Racing Team. I'm your host, Jack, and I'm here with Danish. And in today's episode, we will talk about why we started this podcast and what you can expect to hear on this channel.
Basically, what we'll be doing is we'll go through various segments on this channel, and all the way from grassroots level racing like karting, which we obviously do as well, but also up to the pinnacle of motorsports. And so we'll go through obviously karting, as I mentioned, motorsport news, sim racing, which is obviously growing ever more here in the presence, and we'll also have Q&A and discussion and interviews in terms of thinking outside the box and seeing, concepts that aren't necessarily in play in today's car culture in general or racing. And, we'll just go ahead and expand on a few thoughts and discussions that we go through just with our passion for motorsports. And again, we'd love to hear from you guys and hear back any feedback that you guys might have. With that being said, our hosts, so I'm Danish, and my good colleague here, Jack, will be presenting you this information on a week-to-week basis. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. We definitely, it's our first time trying it, so we'll definitely, stumble through it a little bit. But I think, in all honesty, I think we'll have a lot of fun doing it. With that being said, I'll let Jack speak here a bit.
Hey, everyone. As Danish introduced me, I'm Jack, and part of our goal with this podcast is to kind of interact with our audience and also kind of give back a little bit more, because I think there's a lot of good content out there, great people in motorsports that I think don't get the kind of audience that they deserve. And so the motorsport arena is full of these great people, and we want to bring these to you, and also all the learnings as drivers and as competitors. Motorsports is very interesting in the sense that it's an individual sport, but it's also very much a team sport. And the way I interact with it is that I'm watching multiple racing series through the week or through the months as the events happen. I race in a club level karting series with Danish, and also a lot of sim racing. Whenever I can get some time in my seat, I am racing and trying to learn and better the craft. And so it's kind of, this podcast is, for me, is a homage to the art of racing and trying to continue to develop it and share that knowledge and with the rest of the world, right? So that's what it is for me. What about you? How do you interact with the sport here on a regular basis, Danish?
Absolutely. And for me personally, it's all about, it started for me while watching motorsports, obviously. And as I'm sure it is for many of you, on TV or even in person. But it's that, the sound, the competition, the adrenaline, the motivation, the desire, the passion. You see it all, on the big screen. And from a young age, obviously, that gets you fascinated. And it is something different, as you mentioned. It's a unique aspect, unique sport. So basically, it started out right there for me, watching obviously NASCAR, Formula One growing up. But then it expanded obviously to other motorsport series as well. And the real cool thing that I love about motorsports is there's so many different series, whether it's four wheels, two wheels, endurance, rallies.
Yeah.
It's something that's really fascinating, and you don't get that in any other sport.
No.
In terms of that diversity. And so it really started back there. And then, as you mentioned, club racing karting, we started just last year, racing finally in the CKRC, the Calgary Karting Racing Club. And our season went well. A lot we learned, a lot to still learn. But we'll go through that with you guys when we go through our segments eventually in future episodes. That's where essentially it started. And so the reason we're essentially diving into this podcast and really starting it up here for you guys is to really give back, and we'd learned a lot in terms of going through some great people who helped us start both at the club level and just in general provide us feedback and guidance through mentorship, and we hope to do the same in that sense for you guys. And provide you alternatives. Like if you're thinking of getting into racing and you're like, well, I can't afford this. Well, we'll cover those topics in future episodes, and just basically share the motorsports world with you guys and our passion with you guys. So that's essentially why I think we'll be starting it. Jack, do you have anything to add as well?
Yeah, I think the Netflix series Drive to Survive and stuff like that has really brought motorsport up to the front. But for the amount of dollars spent and the amount of energy spent in racing, I just don't see enough of the media out there. So that's part of my drive to kind of help us create this. No, we're looking forward to it. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.